Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Last week I posted a video about the disaster that is the Paris Olympics, and a lot of you took issue with my conclusions, calling it conspiracy peddling and fake news, but never actually making an argument against my logic. So I figured I would do it for you because I'm not lazy, and because in the last few days the topic of men competing with women in the Olympic boxing tournament has only intensified, and now we have three sides to the story. So why not lay all three of them out and then let you decide which one actually seems plausible? Now, 2 days ago, the International Boxing Association held a press conference. This is the organization that in 2023 disqualified our Algerian and Taiwanese boxers due to failing a second gender eligibility test after the first test showed irregularities that could not be explained. The IBA stated that they could not provide the actual test because that would be a violation of medical privacy, but that since these fighters failed the test, the public could, quote, read between the lines. However, this did not stop IBA President Umar Krevlev from stating, quote, DNA tests proved that they had XY chromosomes and were thus excluded from the 2023 World Championships. They also said they delivered these test results to the IOC and that no action was taken on the part of the IOC or the International Olympic Committee. Now, as this press conference continued, the question of how the IOC, or Olympic Committee, determines gender eligibility themselves. What specific scientific tests do they perform? What proven, academically peer-reviewed type of medical procedure is used by the Olympics to determine gender eligibility, thereby protecting the integrity of the sport and the safety of the female athletes who are competing? Well, they look at the athlete's passport. If it says female, then they're a female. If it says male, then you are a male. That's right, I can't make this stuff up. The way in which the International Olympic Committee protects female athletes from being put into dangerous, and in the case of boxing, life-threatening situations is to look at a passport. Furthermore, the IOC stated that the IBA's screening of DNA by independent labs in Istanbul is not reliable and that their method of reading a passport is much more so. However, this is also not the end of the story for the IOC. You have to understand that the IBA has ties to Russia. Some of their leadership is Russian. Some of their past sponsorships were Russian energy companies. And like any other boxing or MMA organization, there have been accusations of corruption and problems with biased judges. And the IOC points to this as proof that the IBA cannot be trusted, along with the fact that, yes, you guessed it, the IOC, the Olympics, believes that this whole controversy is a Russian disinformation smear campaign supported by Russian oligarchs, Vladimir Putin, and the Kremlin because Russia was excluded from the games due to their illegal invasion of Ukraine. Yep, Russia, Russia, Russia. So in essence, the Olympic Committee is stating that Vladimir Putin is exacting some kind of revenge against the Olympics in Paris by targeting a boxer from the nation of Algeria and another from Taiwan to create a transgender controversy in order to destroy the Olympic Games in Paris because he feels his country was wronged by their decision. That's scenario 1. Or you could believe scenario 2, which is what a lot of you have already heatedly stated in the comment section of my first video, that according to mainstream media, these two athletes have a gender chromosome disorder and are unfairly being targeted. This means they have Swyer syndrome, an extremely rare disorder that has a chance of 1 in 80,000 of occurring during gestation and birth, or if that were a percentage, 0.000125%. And that would mean we are seeing a statistical anomaly that is basically a 1,000,000,000 shot of two women being born thousands of miles apart with the same rare disorder, growing up to participate in the same sport, only to fail the same test while becoming two of the very few who statistically make an Olympic team to compete for their countries during the same Olympic Games. And all of that is independent of this occurring during a time in our current events and history where the normalization of transgender as an identity instead of a mental health disorder is being pursued heavily by these Olympic Games, as evident with their opening ceremonies. So again, just to recap so far, our two scenarios: number 1, Russia, 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 or extreme statistical anomaly not likely to ever happen again in recorded history. Which brings us to our third possible conclusion or scenario, that these are biological men who have used medicine and chemicals to alter their body because they are transgender and want to be considered women and compete in women's sports, which is why their DNA contains XY chromosomes instead of XX, like 99.999999% of all of the females in the world. But apparently that, according to about half of you who saw the first video, think is a conspiracy theory in itself. But there you have it. Those are your three options. It's a Russian attack on the Olympics designed and executed by the Kremlin on the orders of Vladimir Putin. It's a statistical anomaly so huge that you have a better chance of falling out of an airplane while being struck by lightning and then surviving the impact to the ground with no parachute. Or, as Austin Powers once said,
"That ain't no woman, it's a man."
And as I said at the beginning, these are the three stories presented by all sides involved. These are the facts that we know is given to us by the IBA, the IOC, and the boxers themselves. One of them is right and the correct story. The other two are just BS. So this time, let me know in the comment section below, which one do you believe? Either way, the real truth is this: we will never have a definitive answer. Too many accusations and too many agendas are in the way of having real transparency, and we will be left with speculation and speculation alone, which is usually how these things go. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this look at the current situation and the facts as we know it, and as always, I thank you for listening and for watching, and if you did enjoy this video, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing it out. It really helps out the channel. And from south of the border, just remember I'm still your reluctant gringo. Salute and a huevo.